My grandfather is Un Cha-kun, born in 1912. He came over to Singapore during the 1920s from Fujian, Anxi province. Together with some friends from the same village, he established a business collecting scraps from the British armies. They rented a small shop house along Victoria Street for about $36 per month. When the business grew, they rented a small warehouse in Jalan Kubo to stock up their inventories at that time. Currently, the place is still around, but now it has been transformed into a hotel. In the 1950s, when the business stabilized, my grandfather went back to China to bring my grandmother and my father, Mr. Un Sun An, to Singapore to settle down with him. And at the age of 15, he joined my grandfather in his business. During that time, my father was also made to do odd jobs like packing, sweeping the floor. In 1988, my father founded Shun Zhou with my two uncles. We rented a shop along King George's Avenue. It was a very small shop. I remember the office was in the 20-foot container. Shun actually represents the middle name of my father and also the other two siblings. And Zhou represents continents. So when you put Shun Zhou together, it becomes smooth sailing throughout the continents.
Today, Shun Zhou is a multi-million-dollar company helmed by Mr. Albert Un. The company supplies materials for the construction and maintenance of ships and oil rigs and also anti-piracy equipment. Its warehouses are well stocked to meet its customers' needs anytime. But life was not always smooth for Albert, who grew up in the humble estate of Whampoa Drive in the 1970s.
I spent my childhood in Whampoa Drive. I stayed there till I was 12 years old. It was a very interesting residential area and I was able to see a lot of people from all walks of life, many kinds of people.
When he was just 7, Albert would go from door to door selling ota-ota to his neighbors.
I was given a basket filled with ota, a bundle of 10. And every 10 pieces I sell, I'll make 10 cents. So I got to carry the basket and then shout ota-ota throughout the blocks of flats.
On a good day, Albert could sell 200 sticks of ota-ota, earning him $2. On a slow day, he could only make 50 cents. That was not all. The young entrepreneur also sold discarded items with his friends, earning extra pocket money to buy tidbits.
We'll rummage into the dustbins, in the neighboring shops and all this to find whichever items that we can sell. Sometimes we may find old pair of shoes, we may find corporate gifts like pocket calendars, pocket diaries and all this. So we will lay old newspaper on the floor, display these items on the newspaper and try to sell them for a little bit of money.
At 16, right after his secondary school education, Albert joined his father's company. Shun Zhou was only in its second year of operations then.
My father made me work from the bottom of the company, which means I got to sweep the floor, wash the toilets, do packing, and do some deliveries on bicycle. At that point of time, I got no driving license, so I've got to do deliveries on an old bicycle. Rain or shine, I've got to balance a length of 6-meter long pipe on my shoulders, weighing between 10 to 20 kilograms. Or it could be bagfuls of bolt and nuts, weighing about 50 kilograms per bag on the rack of the bicycle. I fell down so many times because I couldn't balance the bicycle properly. So, and when I balance touch a length of 6 meter length pipe on my shoulder, my shoulders were always swollen, bruised due to the weight of the pipes. 1 or 2 months of practice, I managed to get the method correctly. I was like an acrobat, balancing a length of pipe on my shoulder and riding the bicycle at the same time. When I had got to turn, cars in front and behind has got to stop and give way to me because they were quite alarmed to see a bicycle with a long length of pipe. So that was quite interesting and memorable. My father was a very traditional Chinese businessman, a very traditional father, very stern and strict. I didn't feel good during that point of time because I saw other people's parents sitting right beside them, teaching them what to do in business, but my father was different. I received a lot of scoldings during the day, so naturally after work I didn't want to go home. I would stay back in the office to flip the files, look at the price list, look at the product brochure. At a point of time, I didn't receive a lot of education, so a lot of my peers were all doing better than I was. So I tried my best to enrich myself with as much product knowledge as possible during that time. One of the things that I did was memorizing the price list by heart so that I would be able to impress my customer when they call in for prices without me referring to the price list. It cuts down the waiting time, and at the point of time I think that this makes me a little bit more sad.
Memorizing up to 500 items on the price list was no mean feat, but young Albert persisted. Customers began calling him frequently, knowing that he could provide them with instantaneous quotes. Over time, friendships developed and blossomed.
I was quite motivated, I was quite resilient at that point of time because I told myself, since I've got not much of education, I don't have a degree or something like that, so I better work hard. I better work as hard as I can to one day maybe grow the company so that my father will be proud.
I 叫阿华，今年65岁。我在阿伯的爷爷那边做那个送货员，拿货跟送货。那时候我15岁，那时候店是在小坡维多利亚街。
Ahua came to Singapore from China with his family in 1965. He was entrusted in the care of Albert's grandfather and started working for him in the same year.
在1988年，我过去跟帮 Albert 的父亲工作，是在那个 King George 后面一个巷子那边，就是小小的店那边。我是那边也是拿货，跟那时候我是驾罗力去那个送货，跟人家补货。那时候1、2间的顾客这样啦，那边只有我一个人。后来生意比较好的时候，他又多请2个。司机，那么我就在店里帮忙拿货，跟做我室内的东西。我的爸爸是很随和的，你做了你自己的责任的你的工作做好了，他就是没有问题的。他的爷爷比较严肃，做什么东西都要快，拿的东西要准一点。
When Albert was just 16, Uncle Hua was tasked to show him the ropes of the business. 50 years on, Uncle Hua is still a staff of Shun Zhou and has served the Un family for 3 generations. Today, he works under Albert.
Albert 来的时候，他的父亲叫他帮我拿货，跟我去送货，没有什么特别的。Albert 的人没有老板的气概，他人比较随和，有什么事情会跟我们商量一下。员工有什么事情，我们会跟他商量一下。他比较了解我们的员工的心事了。
In 2002, Albert took over Shun Zhou from his father. Business was a struggle in its early days, but his father's philosophy steered him in the right direction.
My father has always emphasized to me that we have to put our customers' interests above ours. So even to the extent that we sacrifice a little bit, he was always telling me, 我们做人要学会吃亏，因为吃亏其实是一种福。At that point of time when we were a small company, we didn't have much resources. We couldn't get credit terms from a lot of suppliers, and we didn't have any bank loans or financing to assist us during the point of time. So growth was very, very slow.
Unfazed and undeterred, Albert began conducting quality checks on his products.
Until today, I emphasize that anything that goes up from my warehouse has got to look as good as brand new, so that our product represent our company, our product represent our brand. At the end of the day, the end user will feel that buying from us is worthwhile. We are sacrificing our profit margin. But then what we have in return is the faith and the satisfaction from the customers.
Albert's emphasis on quality won him the trust of customers, and his business grew. From a 2,000 square foot rented shop, Shun Zhou acquired its own shop space in 2000. 8 years later, it bought its first warehouse, a roomy 30,000 square foot of space at Tuas. Getting feedback from customers helped Albert understand them better.
My customers' problems are my problems. Feedback to me was that if we are able to become a one-stop solution provider for them, you enhance the convenience for our customers. We started to increase the variety of our stock.
Soon, Shun Zhou was able to achieve cost efficiency, and savings were passed on to customers. But one warehouse proved to be insufficient. Shun Zhou bought a second warehouse in 2012. It comes equipped with a fabrication facility, allowing the company to produce its own products and deliver them to customers more quickly.
In this industry, speed was very, very important, as the ship may just come in for a couple of hours and then they'll leave our ports.
Albert's attentiveness was not limited to his customers.
The pillars of the company are the staff of the company. I may have a very beautiful shopping centers, but without the shoppers, the shopping center will be redundant. So I need to have people that will front the company, that will make our company grow.
The company prides itself in creating a career, not just a job, for its staff.
On top of the interpersonal skill that I learned from Mr. Woon, Shun Zhou also sent me for business management courses, which today I can put to use as an assistant sales manager.
Shun Zhou's education fund was also set up in 2013 to help ease the financial burden of staff with school-going children. It has given out more than $50,000 so far.
I am one of the beneficiaries of our education fund. The remuneration package has improved the quality of my family's life. The company also recognizes my abilities and allows me to apply it, making work in Shun Zhou an interesting part of my life.
For many of Shun Zhou's staff, Shun Zhou is like a second home to them.
这边的管理比较人性化，然后我们在这边可以把自己的特长全部发挥出来，我们会做的东西，然后在这边感觉同事啊、老板对我们都好像家人一样。我感觉哇，蛮有点中国的那种好像以常为家的那种感觉啊。
In March last year, Zhou Fangliang, a worker from Kai Ling's hometown in Jiangsu, China, was diagnosed with a tumor in his brain.
我们都是担心，我们乡下都不懂这种病的严重性嘛。我们老板二话没说，说没关系，只要能查出来什么毛病，钱不是问题，说一定会帮你看好、根治好。而我听这话，哇，我就很感动嘛。
Albert arranged for a brain specialist to treat Fangliang and even footed the $25,000 bill. After the surgery, Albert insisted that he remain in Singapore to recuperate before returning to Jiangsu.
老板说，这个是做到良心上面的安慰，然后花一点钱做完一条人命 ，OK 了，蛮好的。
I was walking along Chinatown one day. I saw two elderlies with walking sticks that are being held together with masking tape. And in my heart, I was thinking that if the masking tape were to give way, they are going to fall again. So when I saw these broken walking sticks, I was like, why can't we give out free walking stick to the needy and those people who needs walking stick? Without walking it, they will not be able to come out of their house.
Shun Zhou launched Project Tongkat in December 2014 to distribute tongkats or walking sticks to elderly persons in HDB estates. So far, 500 tongkats have been given out.
When this project started, my aim was to encourage those people that can't walk without walking aid to be able to walk again by giving them free walking sticks, so that they will be able to socialize with their neighbors. They'll be able to go downstairs to mingle with their neighbors, so that they will not be so bored at home. So by giving them walking stick, my aim is for them to walk out from isolation.
Project Tongkat is not Shun Zhou's only community initiative.
We started off initially organizing lunches, like New Year lunches or something for the old folks. So we bring them out of the old folks' home to the restaurants for lunches. We also do ad hoc donations to homes as and when they require any necessities like rice, diapers, anything that they require, or even wheelchairs.
In 2014 alone, $500,000 was set aside for its community projects. Part of it was used to help dementia patients at the Apex Harmony Lodge. The company also donated 40 tons of rice to more than 30 elderly homes and orphanages last year. The company's efforts were not limited to Singapore. Relief was also given to victims of Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, students from schools in Cambodia, and children in Thailand's orphanages.
We are trying to do our part, being in Singapore, to try to stretch out our help to help those like orphanage, donate like pampers, milk, medicine, all that, so that they have ample provision to take care of the babies or the orphans down there. We will try to, within our means, to actually stretch our help out to them and contribute as much as possible on a 6-month basis or yearly.
Giving is something that Albert learned from young.
My father has always told us when we were young, it doesn't matter how much we have, but how much we give. And giving happiness is actually happiness.
Albert continues to be guided by the life lessons that he had accumulated from young, and he remains grounded despite his success. Shun Zhou has come far in the last 27 years. A result of Albert's industrious and driven nature. Last year, the company grossed a revenue of $40 million, more than 10 times what it earned in its first year. Today, it owns one building along Hamilton Road and 2 warehouses in Tuas. One will be expanded to house modern fabrication machinery and even more inventory. In 2014, it also set up its first overseas office in Perth, Australia, serving the offshore and LNG industry. Shun Zhou's achievements did not go unnoticed. In 2013, Albert received 2 Entrepreneur of the Year awards, one for innovation and another under the Established category. A year later, it also bagged the Singapore Prestige Brand Award in the Heritage Brand category.
When I went up to the stage to collect the awards, I was very emotional. It wasn't a very easy journey for us. Well, there were times when the people said that Shun Zhou will not make it. But till today, we have progressed to what we are. There were a lot of hard work, perseverance, determination that not only I alone have put in, but also the combined efforts of my colleagues. So I was extremely honored to be up there collecting this award on the behalf of my colleagues. These efforts also galvanized the faith and confidence of our partners today. Upon winning the award, I wrote a quote: 诚信以德，守云开，齐心协力创品牌, which means with trust and integrity, we persevere. Hand in hand, we created a brand like Shun Zhou.